Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. This is our special segment called Ask a Lawyer that we do the fourth Thursday every month. And this is Kevin Kennedy. He's our guest this evening. And we've got quite a few phone calls, Kevin. So
all the lines are lit up.
Get back to them here. Let's see. Line 3, I believe we have Jay. Jay, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Good evening, man.
Hi, good evening.
I've got a question. Me and the guys at work were talking, and, you know, this big lottery we had a while back.
Yes.
You know how much money it was. We were talking, and I have a question. If, say, I won the lottery, can my lawyer or you or anyone in the law profession, can they accept the money on my behalf so I don't get recognized? Because I'd have, you know, say, Ken coming out of the woodworks after you win.
Come on.
Like that.
I volunteer, Kevin.
Yeah, that is great, and yes, that is true. You have a right to have a lawyer anytime. You can call him your personal representative, and yeah, that would be excellent. In fact, we've run interference many times. That's why it's smart to get a lawyer, because even if somebody says, I'm investigating you, Mr. Nick, and you say, excuse me, this is not a good time, let me call Kevin, and I'd say, hey, well, what's the officer's name? I'd go right in there and say, hey, I'm Kevin. I'm representing Nick. What is this all about? So Nick really never has to talk to them. And I can get all the information. Again, if he wants to remain anonymous, Nick won the lottery, and he says, Kevin, I want you to move forward. And then I would just basically get there and say, we've got the ticket. Here's the evidence. We want to collect those, and it'll be paid to us. We can have it paid in our trust account. No one even knows who we represent. And he could direct it, and we could pay it out to wherever our client told us to pay it out.
I can say I was shocked to see that those folks came down to Nashville to meet with Rebecca Paul and to pick up that check and be on TV.
Well, he's right. That is a great point, because, yeah, you got more kinfolk than you ever dreamed of.
That's right.
Everybody's saying, hey, come on, help us.
All right, let's see here. Oh, okay, Anna, I think we lost Anna on 4. Let's go to 5, which is Thomas. Thomas, are you there?
Tom, yes.
Hi.
Hey, good evening.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep a $100 busy for a few months, but we'll start with one. I'm 77 years old. I shouldn't say that, but I'm a retired disabled public servant. I took my word of my kinfolk who works for this company to buy a car. He's been with the management for some 30-something years, but he was mad at me about something. I'm going to go into that. But he went in there and took me into buying one of the new piece of junk. Then we called 3 times. I asked him to do the right thing and help them buy it back. But did not. In research, I found that I put all my trust in him to take care of it. So I didn't get the company discount. I was supposed to get the vehicle at it cost because I got I'm blubbering now. Veteran with war status, wartime.
Well, the truth of the matter is, your situation, you didn't get what you thought you'd bargained for, and you feel like they have ripped you off because they didn't give you all the things. And if you could maintain and prove, documentation is always important, having another witness with you is all. How can we prove that these people cheated us? Because if they did, then you've got causes of action for misrepresentation, a violation of implied warranties, or a whole host of things. So we're sorry to hear they took advantage of you. And again, you know, 77 years old, would the court consider you elderly? Yes. And people are very sensitive about business people doing unscrupulous business practices to take advantage of people. And again, if you've got family members, I like to say, get somebody to go buy a car with you.
That's right.
You know, Nick, you may not have known this, but I was actually a car salesman for years when I was working my way through the law school, and was really talented. Broke a lot of records selling cars. And what was interesting, I really didn't get aggravated when a guy broke my record. You want to hear? And I said, well, hey, you broke my record? He said, yeah, but it was a guy I trained, but it was 5 years later, so I was proud. But I'm very sensitive to people making misrepresentations. You know, you can puff a vehicle and talk about how wonderful it is, how good it looks, but there's a line that you cross. If you cross the line, there's civil liability. And, you know, we're right there at Fort Campbell, and you know, you can imagine 32,000 soldiers of different businesses taking advantage. So there's a lot of tricks. One letter, many times, One letter from the lawyer settles a host of tens of thousands of dollars worth of problems.
You know, the first night in law school, a lot of times they go around and ask people, you know, different questions, teachers do, and they ask it at my law school, what do you think makes a great lawyer? And I said, well, I think you got to be a good car salesman, kind of being half funny.
It's true.
But a lot of times you are selling a perspective, or you're selling your client's version of the facts, and you don't cross the line you're talking about. But again, you are, putting it in a light that's most favorable to them going forward.
We were at the break, and we were talking about even when we appear in front of the Supreme Court, and sometimes the justices can fire questions right back at the lawyer. Well, you're here and they're there, and you've got to come across with the greatest argument that you've ever had. You've got to be persuasive. You have to be prepared. You've got to be competent. And if there's an area, you just got to get it done. And it's really your skill versus that other lawyer's skill. And because many times they say, well, Kevin, how'd you do? We won't know the answer for weeks or months.
Months, that's right.
And so you do the best you can, and you can sit down and say, well, I gave it all I had and made a brilliant argument.
That's right. Do the best you can. All right, here on line 6, we've got Mary. Are you still there, Mary?
Yes.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Great.
Just fine.
Okay, my question is, when I first started drawing Social Security, I drawed it for mental reasons. Now I have rods in my back and all that, and I was wondering if I can reapply for Social Security and draw more money, since now I am 100% disabled.
Okay, that's a great question.
That's a great question, yeah.
Social Security really always gets down to medical proof. What will your doctor say? Will they say you are permanently 100% disabled? And how do they get it? You have to talk to your doctor. Again, you're selling yourself, because if you're not advancing your cause and you're not an advocate for yourself, then the doctor's going to say, hey, you didn't meet this. We know that the Social Security Administration is going to try to turn down quite a few. They will turn most people down once or twice, and the squeaky door gets the oil. So you've got to be very vigorous in your pursuit to get that claim. And so what happened to you? You can say many times, well, they turned me down, but now I've had a multitude of other health issues that have made me 100% disabled, and it's not enough for you to say it. Your medical provider's got to say it. And if you can get that documentation, it's in your favor, and you keep rolling. And it changes all the time. Some people get better, many get worse.
That's exactly right. Okay, I believe on line 7 we have Myrna. Are you there, Myrna?
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
I've got a question surrounding a Florida debt collector who has called me. Actually, they called my number, but when I checked it out, they're not looking for me, and it's somebody at a totally different address and all of that. And they're on the Florida State Attorney General's radar, and there's all kinds of complaints about them over the internet and so forth. And I decided I wanted to take them to court, just General Sessions Court. And the response I got from the company, well, they hired a Minnesota attorney who's told me that the applicable rules of Tennessee law apply, and the applicable rule they're citing is Rule 11, I think it's Rule 11, the frivolous lawsuit, saying that they're going to, if I don't sign something basically dismissing the case, they're going to ask the judge for sanctions and so forth. And in the meantime, I got a letter from a Florida attorney offering to represent me, and I checked him out just to see what his rating was with Martindale, Hubble, and AFCO and all of that. He seems to check out all right, but I'm wondering, the first question would be what the propriety is of an attorney who is soliciting business, and the second one would be how far are these people. For one thing, they said, you're suing for $25,000, which is absolutely ridiculous. Well, it was up to $25,000 because that's the limit that the court imposes, and it's whatever the judge feels is fair.
Well, first off, you're very sophisticated.
No kidding.
You understood the law and pursuing that. And so, again, she's very knowledgeable, and even the court would entertain her argument because she is knowledgeable. One of the things that happened, we've talked many times, we hate bullies. You don't like a bully on the playground. You don't want one on the school bus. You don't want one in the courtroom. Now, these lawyers who are out of state, remember, they've got to have a license in Tennessee to practice law in Tennessee, or they have to be associated with a Tennessee lawyer. So they're crossing a line. They can get in trouble when they're coming into our state and they're not licensed properly. Again, what did they say? The first thing they jumped up and said, Rule 11. sanctions. If you don't back off, we're going to sue you. We're going to ask for attorney's fees. It's a frivolous. Well, you know, someone can always advance on you and say that is a frivolous lawsuit. And again, you say this is a legitimate lawsuit. We have a legitimate claim, and it's kind of a bully technique. And many people say, okay, that's it. I'm out. I'm not going to. They'll steamroll you. They'll run over you, Nick. And then sometimes you just got to say, hey, that's your opinion. We're going to let the court call this one.
Well, it's also important, I think, to reiterate that, you know, anytime you're trying to collect a debt, you know, they have the Fair Debt Collection Practices
Absolutely,
Act. A lot
and you
of
can
stuff
stop it
associated.
right there.
That's
Absolutely,
right.
Good. I was thinking about that. That's why I said Nick is brilliant. He'll think of things I thought about, but I didn't say it. Thank you, Nick.
Okay. Hey, guys, if you're hanging on, we will be right back. We've got to take a break, and we'll take your calls here with Kevin Kennedy on Open Line, a special segment called Ask a Lawyer. Stay tuned.